Hi, everybody. Welcome to our lecture. What is solar religion? This is the question we are going to answer today. We will do it by relying both on what nature tells us and on religious anthropology. Our answer will therefore be the result of a logical demonstration and evidences provided by the Kongo and Egyptian spiritual traditions as collected by scholars.
Welcome to the channel Zilalowa of Dr. Yaluka. To begin, please subscribe and tick the notification bell in order not to miss our videos. Thank you for joining.
The theme of our lecture is what is solar religion? But before tackling it, we will first proceed with the usual presentation, that is, the presentation of the speaker that I am and his academy, Ndilalowa. We will then scientifically establish the notion of the solar nature of religion thanks to the Kemetic cosmological argument, that is, through systematic natural theology, because this later constitutes the strong point and particularity of the African traditional religion. This natural theology enables us to prove that in its original trend, which trend has been continued in Congo religion, the Congo, the African traditional religion is actually an exact science. Finally, the development of our theme will follow. I'm Dr. Tetezwa Lubadiri Yaluka. I hold a PhD honor degree from Trinity Graduate School of Apologetics and Theology of Kerala in India. As such, I'm a researcher on African epistemology and spirituality. Therefore, I founded Zilalowa, which is a modern academy of African traditional spirituality. Zilalowa, my academy comprises two branches: an academic branch called Institut des Sciences Animiques and an initiatory branch called also Nzilalowa. So within the setting of the Institut des Sciences Animiques, which is the academic branch, I have published 32 scientific papers and 15 books that are available at Amazon.com. The article will be soon later available in our website, which is congospirituality.com. So, as I said, we have two branches, the academic branch and the initiatory branch. Within the setting of the initiatory branch, we introduce the Black people to the divine practice of the religion bequeathed by our ancestors. Speak of divine practice because people don't really know that there are two kinds of practices of African traditional religion. You have first the practice of the majority of the people, what you mostly see around when you look in the spiritual culture of Africa. You have the human practice, which includes Santeria, Voodoo, Ifa, Palobote, etc., etc. These are intended to help organize society, protect society, elevate society. And aside from these human practice of African traditional religion, you have the divine. We have the divine practice of African traditional religion. In the divine practice, the initiate seeks to become back a child of the Most High and Osiris, a Malungila, as we say in Congo, through the purification of thought. The human practice relies on the spirits of nature, what we call in Kikongo the Bisimbi, while the divine practice relies on the holy ancestor who surrounds us, Kulba Maza, or has they abide in us, being called then the Bakisi. So we have two kinds of practices of African traditional religion. You will wonder how come people don't know this? Yes, because the divine practice was meant to be a secret of the Black people to be kept by the Congo people up to the given moment when the time will come for the awakening of the Black people. And that time has come. And that's why we are teaching that good news of the divine practice of African traditional religion. So within the setting of Dilaloa has the initiatory branch of our academy. We introduce the Black people to the divine practice of their religion. Now, by making reference to ancient Egypt, we are a Kemetic academy, but our Kemetism is different from the traditional Kemetism. Traditional Kemetism started in the United States during the year 1970s. It was inspired by the seminal work of Sheikh Antaria. It is an eclectic movement that seeks to reconstruct the religion of ancient Egypt by rereading the Nedu nature, the scripture of ancient Egyptian through the use of induction and speculation. Therefore, it ends up having a religion belief like all the religions of the world. And generally, it is an anti biblical movement. Neo Kemetism, which is our movement, started in 2008 with the discovery of the Kemetic cosmological argument, which is an argument that enables one to state all the doctrines, the essential doctrines of solar religion. So we use induction in order to state this doctrine, and we use comparative study, comparative approach to prove that the religion thus established is congruent with the religion of ancient Egypt and Sumer and is congruent with Bukongo, the Congo religion, thus giving the proof that the Congo religion is the continuity of the religion of ancient Egypt and Sumer. And this approach results in a religion exact science rather than a mere belief like all the religions of the world. The Black people has the highest spiritual standard in the matter of devotion because theirs, in reality, is a religion which is an exact science. Our movement, neo-Kemetism, is not anti-biblical because the great prophet Simon Kimbangu told us that the principle, the spiritual principles that are in the Bible were copied from our ancestors. They have been stolen from our ancestors. They belong to us. So, thanks to comparative study with the cavity cosmological argument, we can show what thing belongs to us and what doesn't belong to us. So we don't reject the Bible globally because the spiritual teaching that are there belongs to us. Let me remind you that the theme of our lecture is What is Solar Religion? It is an indisputable fact that crossed by the equator, the African continent is naturally marked by the sun. But this marked presence of the day star in its climate also characterizes the symbolism of its spiritual discourse. However, the choice of this symbol in terms of divinities is not a coincidence. It can be justified thanks to natural theology, that is, thanks to what nature teaches us concerning the divine. We will therefore start from the cavity cosmological argument has a natural or the natural systematic theology. We'll start from it in order to establish the symbolism of the sun with regard to celestial deities. Also with regard to their temporal manifestation, divinities and humans. To this end, the Kemetic cosmological argument can be summarized as follows. I'm an individual being. You are individual being. Therefore, this universe in which we live is an aggregate of individualities. Thus, it is an individual entity. Being an individual entity, it must be the work of an individual cause. Now, in the infinity of possibility, the individual nature of this cause begs the existence of other similar causes. Now, our senses seems to tell us that it sees only this universe as being the created reality. Thus, at least we have one creator, one effective creator, and many potential creators. So, in, in a few words, we have potential creators and effective creators. Here, I will use an hypothesis whose content I will prove, whose truthfulness I will prove later. The hypothesis is that every creation abides in its creator. Now, let's consider an entity that includes all the potential and effective causes deduced above. This entity is therefore the greatest possible being because any creation you can imagine will be in its cause, in its creator, and the creator will be included in this entity. So this entity is the most high, the supreme being. Therefore, the supreme being must be indivisible and immutable. Because if he were not, then there must be the principle of his divisibility and mutability. And that principle must be greater than him. which means greater than the greatest possible being, which is impossible. Therefore, the Most High is absolutely indivisible and immutable. It follows also that the Most High must be transcendent. By transcendent, we don't only mean that he is above everything, but also that he or she doesn't know evil. We have demonstrated that the Most High is indivisible. Therefore, within the setting of his absolute indivisibility, in him to know and to be are one and the same thing. Therefore, if the Most High knew evil, he will be infinitely good and infinitely bad, which is an aberration. Therefore, the Most High is transcendent, means that he is above everything and he or she doesn't know evil. We have also seen that every child of the Most High or every creator manifests an individuality which is included in the Most High. However, the Most High is absolutely indivisible. Therefore, we come to the conclusion that every creator or every child of the Most High expresses the fullness of the Most High, but in an individual manner. That fullness is what we call the Logos or the Word. Now, a question arises here. Where does our temporal universe exist in relation to the Most High? It cannot exist in the Most High. If it were, then at the moment of its occurrence, the Most High will change, which is impossible because he is absolutely immutable. It cannot be outside of he or her, because if it were, then added to him or to her, it will result in an entity greater than the greatest possible being. So our temporal universe is neither in the Most High, neither outside of the Most High. It is like I tell you that Mr. X, who is with me in this studio, has a car. His car is neither in the studio nor outside the studio. The answer is clear. It is in his mind. So the temporal universe is in the temporal consciousness of its creator. It is only a limited perception of the celestial reality, which is the only reality that exists. Everything in the temporal universe is only a limited or reverse perception of its reality in the spiritual, the heavenly realm. The Kemetic cosmological argument has summarily introduced here. These this argument can extend as to include all the essential doctrines of solar religion. But we stop here for the sake of the lecture. And you have to note also that it is a set of deductive and covering truths. Therefore, it is an exact science. So, of today, we have two exact sciences. We have mathematics and we have the Kemetic cosmological arguments. This argument allows us to affirm that the Most High is light because all reality and all power are in Him. And the presence of the Logos acting in each child of the Most High allow this latter to understand this reality. However, Light is defined by the lexicographer as what allows us to see. The Most High is therefore infinite light. We also learn from the Kemetic cosmological argument that the Most High is absolutely indivisible. Hence, has an expression of an individuality included in the Father, Mother, the Most High. Each child of the Most High manifests the fullness of his infinite and indivisible glory, thus manifesting the infinite light of the Supreme Being. Each manifest and potential creator is a sun, a star in heaven. That is how the stars are defined. They are they are shining faster, and they don't they shine light, and the children of the Most High are like stars because they shine out the infinite glory of the Father, Mother of the Most High. Alluding, alluding to the celestial nature of the children of the Most High, the Congo tradition calls the creator Mumba Loa. The Most High is called Nzambi Ampungu Tulendo, but the creator, who is different from the Most High, is called Mumba Loa. Now, the term Mumba means the potter, and the term Loa means the sun, the solar potter. It is the equivalent, the term Loa, which means the sun, is the equivalent of the Egyptian term Ra. We must also note that all reality being in the Most High, the temporal universe is only a limited perception of the Most High celestial reality, which is not an aggregate of suns. Everything on the temporal plane is only a limited or reverse manifestation of its celestial reality as a sun. I repeat again that everything in the temporal realm is only a limited or reverse manifestation of its celestial reality as a sun, called the heavenly realm is an aggregate of suns, an aggregate of stars. If you consider the Egyptian scene of the shoe gap and Nut scene, where the god Shu raises the god Nut above the god Gap. And if you consider the god Nut, you will see that his body is full with stars that symbolize the children of the Most High in heaven. They are stars. In terms of the concept of human beings, this implies that while you and I seem to be limited entities here, we are now, even in heaven, bright stars, bright suns. It follows that since all reality is in the Most High, this temporal universe is only a dream from which the ancestors are working to bring us out. in accordance with Bumbaloa's plan of salvation for humanity. So, what is solar religion then? Well, it is a religion which, in its highest practice, helps human beings to gradually recover the expression of their celestial nature as stars, as sun, as suns, as Osiris, as child or children of the Most High. I can give you here a testimony of a young man who, before going through the initiation of our academy in Zilaloa, was just an average student. The initiation taught him that he's actually a shining sun, thanks to the purification that the initiation teaches, and thanks to his practice of this, he went from an average student to a bright student. Let me here remind you our online course on an introduction to the Kongo religion. This is an academic course that will be given on 11 February. Then there will be another one that will start from 24 February. The checkout links can be found in the description. All are welcome. Come join us to learn what the book Congo is. The Egyptian Book of the Dead reminds us of this doctrine of the illumination of human being by emphasizing that we can only become manifest Osiris again thanks to the purification of our thoughts and the cycle of holy ancestors. Remember, I tell you that in the human practice, which is the practice of the majority of the African people, we use the besim or the spirits of nature. In the divine practice, we use the holy ancestors, the succor of the holy ancestors. That makes the difference between those two practices. And the divine practice is a practice of a minority, which is today found mainly among the Bantu people and especially the Congo people. Now, among the Congo people, the myth of Mahungu, this great teaching of the Congo, teaches us that it is due to his own misuse of his free will that the human being lost the manifest expression of his celestial nature as a son. In other words, it was each of us old original sin that caused us to fall into this dream. As for our salvation, the myth of Mahungu corroborates the Egyptian Book of the Dead by emphasizing that human means cannot lead us to discover how Osiris nature. To recover, to recover your Osiris nature, you don't need the human practice of African traditional religion, but rather the divine practice of African traditional religion. All these teaches us that the human practice of African traditional only helps us to organize, elevate, and protect society. And this practice is one that is generally visible on the African cultural landscape. However, we are taught that only the divine practice of our religion will ultimately lead us to achieve the goal of this temporal journey, to become once again a brilliant star, an Osiris, a Malungila. And this practice, which is currently that of a minority of the Bantu people, and especially the Congo people, makes us becomes back Osiris again through the purification of thought and the succor of holy ancestors. In conclusion, systematic natural theology and religious anthropology teach us that each of us is in reality now even a star, a sun on the celestial plane. These lost celestial nature can only be found again in the divine practice of spirituality through the purification of thought and the sacred of holy ancestors. Solar religion is the one which, by this mechanism, leads us to once again become Osiris, Malungila, child of the Most High in a manifest way. Thank you. Don't forget our rendezvous of an online course on 11 February and the second one starting from 24 February. The checkout link can be found in the description. Thank you. Thank you again.
If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share. More on this subject can be found on my books available at Amazon.